How's it going, everybody? My name is Sai, and I'm emerging from my editing cave to react to some Coheed and Cambria. They just dropped their new track tonight, and I've been looking forward to hearing some new Coheed and Cambria. I cannot believe the last album was out 3 fucking years ago, but we are gonna see what the new album is gonna sound like. Supposedly it's gonna be released sometime this year or early next year, so looking forward to that, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, already got some pretty cool, slick guitar work. A little bit of a scream there, Okay. A little funky, a little distorted and electronic, okay. There's that soaring chorus. This is a really nice chorus too. A little additional intensity there. Interesting production on the vocals. Really strange riff action. Oh, the nice bass line too. Okay, this is an interesting hard left from their last record a little bit. The last record opened up with this really huge prog epic. This one is a little bit more on the technical side, a little bit more straightforward structurally. Really nice, interesting guitar work though to really help it stand out, and some interesting production stuff. We knew they were going to make a really nice hooky chorus too. I'm glad to see that they're tweaking it at the end cycle. Damn. Okay. Huh. Let's talk about it. Okay, so that was the new track by Coheed. It's called Shoulder, and I was into it for sure. This is apparently, I did a little extra looking around. This is definitely the start of the Vaxxus 2 cycle, which is going to continue their storyline that they started with the last record. So it's cool to see that going on. Saw some elements of that in the video. There's more emphasis on like the masks, though it looks like there's some AI stuff going on. Kind of curious if that's tied in or if that was just cool visuals. You never really know with this band. But overall, let's talk about the sound. So the sound is, again, it's all together Coheed, but they're doing some new stuff here. They're taking a more straightforward kind of metal rock sound, something that they pulled to kind of middling success on this record back here, which is No World for Tomorrow. I personally really like the record, but a lot of people were like, oh man, it's Coheed, he does dad rock, who likes that, you know? So it just kind of depends on what you're into, but there's a lot of Sabbath-y action to it, a lot of groove and funk to it. Just kind of has this classic metal edge. It also brought in some elements from Black Rainbow, which I feel like a lot of their newer music has elements from Black Rainbow that worked well and kind of pulled it away from the not so great production of that album. Here we have a lot of the more crunchy electronic distortion, a lot of a very compressed sound. I think the entire vocal line for Claudio has a little bit of a compressed edge to it. Kind of sounds like it's being processed through a digital filter and not coming in completely clean. I wouldn't say like auto-tune, not like auto-tune. It's like different. It's like intentionally scratchy to add a kind of almost apocalyptic distortion to it. There's a lot more of a meaner track than most of the tracks on Unheavenly Creatures was, and that's kind of cool to see. It's interesting to see just because like it's a natural progression a little bit. Unheavenly Creatures 1, I felt like borrowed a lot of elements from Good Apollo, which is the third record, the one that kind of everybody knows like Welcome Home from, for example. And I feel like this record is now kind of moving like down the line and picking up elements from Black Rainbow and No World for Tomorrow. We'll see how much of that they stick in with, or if they do what they did with the last record, which is kind of pull influences from all around to make a really well-rounded product at the very end. But it's cool to see them lead off with a shorter track, not completely blowing their load like they did last time when they led off with one of arguably the best cuts off of the record. And it's overall, I feel like sound-wise, it's interesting. I'm gonna wait on my verdict on how much I like it to see how much of the album is like this though, because this is a very straightforward sound, and it is a sound that I feel like if they did this the entire record, which I have confidence they won't, by the way. If they did this the entire record, I maybe won't be into it as much. However, I have confidence they're gonna mix it up. They've never really given any indication that they weren't going to in the past, so there's that. I will give props to the guitar work though. The guitar work is taking very straightforward riffs and really modulating with them, fucking around with timings and kind of making it a very chaotic affair, which I think really helps this track stand out, not just from the pack, but from Coheed's previous work before. I don't feel like there was anything quite sounding like this in their old work. They have some elements from their old work in there, but I feel like this is something genuinely new, which this far into a band's discography is kind of cool to hear, especially when they're still retaining classic Coheed staples such as the kind of interesting lyricism and the soaring choruses with a lot of catchy hooks to it. I feel like the last comparison I'd make is maybe it sounds a little bit like the Hard Sell, which also implemented some kind of almost Zeppelin-esque riffage to it. But I feel like just here it's a lot more technical, a lot more garbled, and a lot more interesting. Once again, the bassist is holding it down too, though I felt like he was mostly just repeating the guitar riff just without the guitar over it for a little section there. So overall, really into this track, really kind of careful about it though, because I feel like they could steer too hard in this direction and it might be a problem. But definitely for this track alone, as its own thing, I'm into it. And I can't wait to see what they have next. So, yeah. Other than that, guys, you let me know what you guys think down below. Am I correct? Am I crazy? What are your thoughts? What do you feel like? Links down below to buy this track or listen to it, whatever Roadrunner wants to give me, as well as for me. You got my socials down below, all that good shit. Follow me on there. Join the Discord group. Join the Twitch streams, which ever evolving. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching and take care.